Assalamualaikum and very good morning. How are you guys? Hope that you are fine. Um, those are already in the room, so can you log on to your Putra Blast to sign your attendance? Okay, guys. While waiting for your friends, do you have any questions regarding to your assignment? I hope that you understand the instruction, so you can just answer the question. I think it's not a really hard questions. It's more towards your understanding about the whole information or the whole idea of software quality, right? Any question, guys? Okay. One question from Hazik. Do we need to write long justification? For me, yes. If you have a long justification, then you have to put it in your writing. But I give you around only 5 to 10 pages, right? So you can write long justification. For me, more justification is showing that you are more understanding about the matters, and also you mature in uh, looking at software quality in terms of product, right? So that's the thing that for me is good if you can write a long justification. But just to remind you about the presentation of your writing, please make sure that your writing have something like structure. It's not like something like essay or a novel. If you want to write a long thing, a long justification, but be more structured, be more specific on what you are explaining about, right? Long justification is good for me. It's good, but it should be something that really benefit for me to read. Right? Okay. So, other questions about your assignment? Because I think a lot of you have already started during the weekend. That's good. Thank you very much. I can see your spirit on finishing this assignment. That's good. So if you have any questions, just let me know. But don't ask me until don't wait to ask me until Thursday, right? Please, if you have time, then try to make that assignment because I don't think that the assignment is really burden you much. Yeah. Okay. For those who are just already in the room, can you sign up, log on to your Putra Blast and sign your attendance? Okay, guys, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I think we shall start our uh, class. For Muslim, we start with Kitab Al-Fatihah. Okay. Last week or last 2 weeks, we already finish our chapter 1, right? So about the fundamental, right? The software quality fundamental. I already given to you an assignment for that. Yeah, you have to finish it in 1 week, I think. But that assignment, I think around, yeah, if you concentrate from 1 day, you can finish it, right? Um, so yeah, we are moving to chapter 2. So chapter 2 is about software quality standard. Before we move forward, then I think we need to record the meeting first, or the class, so that I can put it in the Putra Blast. Someone who will miss the class then can see it or can watch it. Okay. So chapter two is about quality standard, right? So as I mentioned to you before, quality and also standard is something that you need to know, right? Because if you want to do inspection, if you want to do quality audit or some quality audit activities, you need to refer to a standard. Yeah. So this is the thing that you need to learn as a software quality evaluator or, yeah, audit and so on. So for this chapter, at the end of this chapter, right, you should be able to understand the term of standard. What is standard, right? Going through the journey of standard, so the history of standard, and then how standard is developed, right? And then define the role and the purpose of SQA standard. SQA, the term, you know the term SQA, right? The software quality assurance. Realize the importance of standard. You need to know the importance of standard, and then you can explain the process of certification. Okay. So this is 5 things that I would like you to have at the end of this chapter, right? So knowing what is standard is crucial, right? So you know the journey of standard, how the standard is developed. This is also crucial. Define the role and purpose of SQS standard. This is important, right? Realize the importance of standard. You have to realize, and then you can convince, in order to convince people that if you are relying, or if you are referring to the standard, this is a reliable source in order to inspect or in order to audit the quality of a software. And last but not least, it is you can explain the process of certification, right? So you know, you understand all the standard, all the certification, and then you'll be able to explain the process of on how to make it, on how to uh, what is the process. Right? So the first thing, always, we will learn about the definition, right? So what is standard, right? What is this standard? It might be it the standard might simply be defined as a set of rules, right? A set of rules for ensuring quality. So standard, this is a simple definition that you can take. Is a standard might simply be defined a set of rules for ensuring quality, right? So a standard is an agreed way of doing something, right? It could be about making product, right? Making product. It can be to manage a process, right? Can be something for delivering a service or supply material, right? It is a huge range, right? It cover a huge range of activities undertaken by organizations used by their customer, right? So this is standard. It is not something that standard that you refer to certified product, right? You know that in Malaysia you have something like halal product, certified halal, right? This is certification, right? So you have something like a helmet, you are wearing a helmet while riding a bike, that the helmet should be uh, certified for safety, right? So this is certification. It is not only the product, right? The standard also can be as for to manage a process, right? To manage a process, there is a rule, something like that. There is a procedure on how to execute these processes, right? So standard can be a documentation on a guideline on uh, how to execute a process, to execute a list of processes. It can be something like that. It's not only a product, and also delivering a service. For example, if you have your company is doing a maintenance of the system, right? So this is kind of service, right? Service of maintenance of system, correction maintenance, preventive maintenance, and also the corrective maintenance. This is a service. But in order to execute the service, you have something like this is the rules, or this is the processes. First, if you want to report a bug or a problem with the system, you have to call uh, the help desk, right? When you call the help desk, then the help desk will issue you a ticket, meaning that a ticket of this is the problem that you have made, this is a problem you have reported, and this is your number, right? So if anything happen, you have to refer the number, and then after that, the help desk will try to see whether the problem is the severity of the problem. Is it one, the highest one? Is it two? Is it all three? So after determining the severity, and then after that he or she will forward to the developer, and then the developer will do the changes. After do the changes, then the developer will do the regression testing, then the testing, and then after that send back the information to the help desk, and then the help desk will inform to the user, and then the user will check whether the problem has been solved or not. This is something that the processes, right? For for delivering a service. It can be in standard, something like that. Okay, if you want to have reporting this one, you have to have this, and this. It's something like a guideline. Or another one is supplying material, right? So we have material in our in our project. So assume that we have a material in our project. We cannot say that we just take the material and use it, right? Sometimes we have to inspect the quality of the material, and then there is a standard. For example, there is a standard uh, 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 to to get the chip. For example, for a smart card chip, right? So you get the smart card chip, and then when you get the smart card chip, there is a standard on how to verify the quality of the smart card chip. Something like you have to check the electrical of the chip. If you issue the VCC of 5 volt, is it okay or not? Is it the reset is okay or not? Because before you use the smart card, you have to reset first, and then is it the reset okay or not? Is it the ground okay or not? You can make it something like, okay, it is not all the cards that you receive, is something that probably you can have uh, 10% of sampling and so on. So this is before you use the material from the supplier, from uh, uh, from before you use the material, you have to do some inspection first. Then probably they have something like standard for that. So this is also uh, uh, usage of standard. All right. Next, the term definition. Okay. So the term standard used in generic sense is in generic sense. It's not really specific into software quality. So the term standard used in generic sense has been defined by DUREC, right? That which is set up, right? Standard that which is set up as a unit of reference As I mentioned to you before, standard is something like it's a reference guide, right? To do something. Okay, it's a form, probably a type. You can also example, right? Instance or combination of condition accepted as correct and perfect, right? And hence, as a basis of comparison, a criterion established by custom, public opinion, general consent, or model, right? So this is standard, right? Which is set up as a unit of reference. It's set up as a unit of reference. Sometimes we have a form, something like that. Also a type, also example, right? Standard also can be just example. Okay, this is example of doing uh, software development, something like that. So you have follow this example. It also can be referred as a standard. Instant and examples for me kind of same or combination of condition accepted as correct and perfect, right? So if you do something, right, if you have this is your first time to produce a product. Let's say okay, let's say you want to cook your fried rice, right? Nasi goreng, for your kids or for kids to for kids for breakfast, for example, right? So the first thing is you have to cook it, right? You have to have your ingredient. Let's say you have to have a rice, you have a chili paste, you have something like onions and garlic, and then you have some chili sauce or some sauce, and also soy sauce. That one is the ingredient, and then you try to fry it, right? First time, no, the kids don't like it because it's too spicy, and then the second time you do it, and then it's okay, but it's too oily or something like that. And then after that, after a while, after a process, then you find a perfect, meaning that the kids love it. And then after that, you make a condition. Okay, so now we know that the rice should be something like this, right? The chili paste should be something like this. The amount of chili paste is only this amount. This, and then after that, you need to have something like okay, garlic and also onions is not too many. It's this amount of probably 100 grams or less than that. This is something that you have done first, and then after that, it's when it accepted as correct and perfect, then this is the flow that you have to follow, right, in order to achieve that. So, and has a basis of comparison. It can be a basis of comparison or a benchmark, right? So this is the benchmark. Okay, something like okay, the card should be, for example, a smart card. So the smart card should be something like this is the dimension, this is the size, and this is the thickness of the card. So this is the what call that, the standard. And then after that, when you produce a card, then you have to benchmark with the standard. Is it comply with the standard or not, right? So if it is comply with the standard, then yeah, the the product can be certified as a comply with standard, right? Okay, it also can be a criteria as by custom, public opinion, and also general consent, right? So in developing a standard, right, developing a standard, sometimes it is not something that you can ask one person. Let's say if a product is normally produced by a company, then you invite the company to come, and then okay, let's say we want to make a standardized of this, let's say this mouse, right? Only one company produce this mouse, and then uh, or it's not only one company, probably one company produce a biggest amount of this mouse, and then there are some company that produce, but it's not in large amount, right? But you ask the biggest company to come to make a standard for that. So it is not something like that for the standard. Standard have to ask all players, producing this mouse in order to make a standard, right? Make a standard of something like this mouse. So a general consent, meaning that we need all the players to have a general consent on what is the best standard and achievable standard for the all players to produce a mouse, something like this. Okay. Uh, Journey of standard. So this is more about history of standard, right? So the first journey of standard. So users of standard document are not an advantage, uh, but a necessary part of industrial operation and customer satisfaction. So users standard documentation are not an advantage, but a necessary part of industrial operations and customer satisfaction. So guys, what do you understand about this term?
This is was
Yes.
uh, uh, it's a something that that is used to assure the customer that you are doing a quality product.
Yes. Uh, just to show.
Using, yeah,
Yes, Anis.
using like to follow standard is as a requirement for every company. It's not. Oh yeah.
Yes, Anis. Okay, I
Yes.
understand that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I agree with the Haziq and also Anis. Yes. First, Haziq mentioned about just to show that the company comply with some standards. Also, Anis mentioned to mention also about it is something like a compulsory to follow the standards, right? So yes, it is not an advantage anymore because probably previous in maybe some years, following a standard is something like you are advantage, right? You are ahead from other competitors. That okay, I have comply with these standards, and then also the process, also the product also comply with standard. Now it is not advantage anymore. It is something like compulsory, right? Some products need to have certification, right? Because for example, when if you want to export your toys, right? A toy for kids, yeah, to some country in Europe, they have something like regulation. Right? They have regulation of this toy have to comply with this standard, right? They will not allow any below standard toys to enter the country. Right? This is something that okay, if I want to move ahead of if I want to export the product into global market, then you have to comply with the standard, right? This is a compulsory. It is not any advantage anymore. It is not something like your product comply with this standard, then uh, you can ask for more money for that, or you can higher the price. But now a lot of people talking about standard. If your product is it comply with the standard or not, it is now it's a compulsory. All right. So another one is it is important to be aware of standard provision for those involved in assuring quality and providing direction for the future for future planning, right? So you have to aware with the standard, right? When because normally some big companies or some medium company, they have something like strategic plan, right? If they do some planning on how to get more money and then how to enhance their technology, they have to also think about standard, right? They cannot make by themselves because they have to comply with the standard. So any future planning, any of what we call that future direction, you need to also embed quality standard in your company, right? In your development. Okay. So in order to understand and appreciate the standard apply, right, it is essential to have the basic knowledge of history of standard and its development process, right? So in order to, if you want to appreciate, right, standard, because some people saying that it's just a standard. I don't know who doing that, and then it's just a standard. So why you want to follow that, right? But you need to understand the standard development is not just something like, okay, I take A, I take B, he is expert in A, he has let's say we want to make a standard uh, for smart card, right? Okay, smart card. In our country, we have 5 players. Okay, 5 players. We take 1 or 2 player, and then sit down at the table, and then ask them. Okay, this. Make it the topic. Okay, now first it is. We want to standardize the dimension. The second one, we want to standardize the material of the card. We want to standardize some blah 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 blah. But we take only 2 person, and then just okay. Now we come up with the standard. No, standard is something different. It is not something that you just pick people, right? Standard is something that they are carefully pick the key players, and also it is not the key players of the industry. They also have something like involvement of academics, involvement of the user of the product. So this is a bunch of people that go through the process of making or developing the certification until the certification uh, satisfied with a public, with certified to all the user and also the key players. It is not something that a, just what call that simple or just a random thing that on how to develop the standard. So you have to appreciate that, right? So, and then you have to know the development process. It's not something like 1 or 2 days. One person do something here, one person do something there, here, some other thing, and then combine it together. No, it is something like a series of uh, revision, and revision until they come up with a standard. So we'll learn about this later. So first, it is a story, history of standard, right? So early standard, it is 1855, 1895. So from the International Association for Testing Material, right? So this is a material standard, right? As I mentioned to you before, normally they have something like test the material before they use it. So this is this as early as 1895, they have something like International Association for Testing Material. So in 1910, AIEE established as a standard group, right? And then after that, AIEE 1916 is a national standard body. So first of all, they have something just a group, some people that have interest in software quality standard. They make a group. They make something like people who are interested in that group. They can join and then make something. So make activity together. But it is not something like a national body, a national recognized body. But after 6 years, 1916, they have something like an they have what call that recognized as a national standard body, right? And then American Engineering Standard Committee (AESC) after 1918 renamed the American Standard Association after a few years of operation. So 1918 they renamed to American Standard Association (ASA). And then after that, International Federation of National Standardizing Association (IAS) in 1926 is re-established the standards movement on an international basis. This is go towards more international. At the first place, they are more going more towards the national body. That one is the US, right? Then after that, 1946, right? The one that you already know, right? The International Organization of Standardization. or it is well known as ISO, first provisional General Assembly, where the rules and constitutions were adopted, and its provision began to be authorized by national standardization body, right? So this is ISO and American Standard Association, or ASA 1969. The name changed to American National Standard Institute, ANSI, right? So this is quite a well-known standard, right? This is the American standard, but some uh, sometimes we use ANSI standard, right? Because sometimes the standard is not available for the ISO, because ANSI is quite fast in producing standard, but ISO sometimes a bit slow. But if it is not available, try to see the ANSI, ANSI, right? American National Institute. So benefit of standard to software quality, right? The ability to apply methodologies, procedures of highest professional level, right? So this is the benefit, right? So if you are uh, follow the standard, we can show that your organization or your process on executing the project or developing the software, it is some kind of higher level of professional, right? So and then you apply the methodology, the high standard methodology uh, in software development. Okay, better mutual understanding and coordination, right, among development team and also between development and maintenance team. So what do you understand about this one, right, guys? For this bullet and these two bullets, what do you understand in software quality, in software development, right? So these two bullets, the ability to apply methodologies and procedure of higher level professional, and better mutual understanding and coordination among development teams, and also between development and maintenance team.
If we follow the standard, we
Mm-hmm.
following the guidance from the professional professional engineers, or or the professional about the software quality, in
Mm-hmm.
order for us to produce a quality product, software
Mm-hmm.
product, into our uh, into our software software developing culture, something like that.
Okay. Okay. How about the better mutual understanding, Azim, and coordination? What standard can benefit you in
I think this gives an idea for each workers to provide maintain to provide an understanding between all of them,
Mhm.
with each group.
Okay, thank you, Azim. How about others? How about others? What do you understand about mutual understanding and coordination among development teams and also between development and maintenance team? Yes, Shazwan?
Is it it's better for them to meet um, the requirement and the keputusan bersama for software to make sure the quality of software the other quality lah, high quality.
I got it. Okay. Uh, Yes, both Hazim and also Shazwan, you're correct, but it's a bit high level, right? In more low level, something like, okay, if I talking to you, right? I'm talking to you to what do you call that? To do some testing, right? Testing. Okay, we have for example, assume that we want to do testing, right? So I learned testing in this organization, right? And I want to do testing with B, right? A and me and B is sorry. Okay, for example, me and me, Hazim, and also Shazwan. Three-person will do the testing, right? But Hazim have experience testing in company A. Shazwan uh, have done testing, and he have experience in company B, while me have uh, experience in company C. But our term is different, meaning that Hazim mean test script is the step in producing is in the step of what do you call that executing the testing. But test script in Shazwan is like the plan, test plan or test procedure. For me, test script is just something like a script on how to manage the test cases, something like that. So the term is different, even though we mentioned about the term is the same, but the meaning is different. For Hazim meaning different, Shazwan meaning different, but for me, I mean test script is different thing. And then we don't know which one is the right one, right? But having a standard, right? Having a standard that test script is the meaning of test script is ABC. The meaning of test script is zero. Okay, so both of these three-person, me, Shazwan, and also Hasim, yeah, right? We okay. Now we are following this reference. This is our standard. So test script here is mentioned blah 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 blah. So we have to follow this standard. So this is something like better mutual understanding, coordination, because the reference is the same reference, and then we are talking about the same thing, and then the definition of the thing is the same for the whole project team. So I think that I hope that you understand this, right? So and also between development and also maintenance team, right? So we are following some standard of methodologies, right? Let's say we have the development team, okay? The development team using something like a waterfall, right? So but the maintenance team they say that, oh, waterfall, they mention about they try to discuss with the development team, okay, with different what do you call that different methodology. For example, development they use, as I mentioned to you, they use waterfall, but maintenance team they use something like agile, sprint, and so on. So and then they're talking about the talking with the development. Okay, we use a sprint one, blah 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 blah, but development team say that what is that? So it is not something that is standardized, right? It is. It can be two different things, but the term that you are talking about is should be the same, and then the main reference should be a standard, right? So it promotes the greater cooperation between the software developer and external participants in the project based on adoption of standard as part of the contract, right? So it is easier if you have something like if you want to do cooperation with the software developer and also the external participant. External participant meaning someone that supply you external software, also the user of your system. If you have something like a standard, you don't have to make a what do you call that you don't have to develop a contract that specify all the things on how to uh, what do you call it how to execute the process or participate in the software project. right? So if you have a standard, then you just okay. We are following standard A, B, C, and D for communication. Blah 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 blah. You just referring to the standard. You don't have to what do you call that? You don't have to develop all the uh, uh, agreement with your external parties, right? Understand, guys?
Yes, doctor. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your response. Really glad to hear that. All right. Okay. Simple. Benefit of standard to software quality. So it decrease the number of defects, errors in software, less rework as result of less software defects. So how quality can decrease the number of defects, guys?
I think is it because the profession because it the standard was created based on the history of errors that was being created.
Yes. Thank you, Ajay. I think you means you meant about what call that because the standard is created to decrease the defect. So if you're following the standard, you are decreasing the defect. Yes. Okay. Other than that, decrease number of defects and errors in software.
Because quality itself, we macam kita apply quality from not only on the product at the end product, but also from in the process itself. So if we follow from the very beginning of the development of the product, then we can ensure that there will be lesser defects.
Thank you, Anis. Yes, that's correct. Thank you very much. Because normally we will try to detect defect as early as we can, and then the software quality, right? Just to ensure that all the process, as Anis mentioned before, is already inspected, or the quality of every processes or product of the processes has to be inspected before going to to move to other process, right? So you can detect the defect as early as you can, and then you already learn, right? Defect that found early is cheaper and than the defect that you found at the end of the process. And then you will make sure that all the before moving to another process, the process are already qualified and then fulfill the requirement of the system. So you will decrease the number of defect by ensuring the quality. All right. So reduce development and maintenance costs. How about this one, right? Because we know that if we want to employ or we want to adopt quality, we have to pay a lot of money. So how come we can have something like reduce development and maintenance costs?
It came from how from the number of defect that has been decreased. So the development also the maintenance cost to defect will be decreased. So the development will be along the same. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Hakim. Yes, agree that, right? Because as Hakim mentioned, because of the defect is less, right? Then the maintenance cost will be lower, right? It will be reduced. And then also the development, even though we spend a bit, right? We spend for quality for the whole process or the every step of our development. The development will the cost will be reduced because we will have following all the requirement, and then the possibility of the project to get delayed is really reduced. The most contribution of higher cost is when the project delay, because when the project delay, they don't get the payment, right? It's not something like the delay is not paid, right? If you are paying paid for 6 months of development, if you delay around 3 months, and then the 3 months delay, it is caused by you because you are not doing the right thing, right? You are not following the standard. Then 3 months you are not get paid, right? So this is to reduce the development, what call that, development cost ahead, right? So you are not seeing the cost immediately. You will see the cost. Sorry, you will see the ROI, return on investment of quality, at the end of the process or after the software have been released, right? So increase software reliability, right? The reliability of the system is increased. So and then the customer increase the customer satisfaction, right? And then happier software practitioner. Is it happy? I think only at the end of the process, when you see the what call that, the benefit of quality at the end of the process, at the end of the development, then the software practitioner is, I think, is happy, right? Because uh, to to uh, to comply for the whole quality standard is really, yeah, it's really challenging, right? Because you are thinking of finishing all the software development, you are thinking of all requirement from the stakeholder, the time, and then you have to comply with the standard. That is really really challenging for the software developer. But it is about something that you build it right, and then, yeah, you can get benefit out of it, right? But if you are not doing it right, then after that you will get something bad happen at the end of the process, right? Okay. Quality management system. Yeah, the definition of quality management system is a collection of policies, right? Policies, procedures, plans, resources, processes, practice, and the specification of responsibility, authority of an organization designed to achieve product, service quality level, customer satisfaction, and company objective. So this, yeah, this term or definition have a lot of things, right? So we go one by one, right? Okay, a quality management system, right? Quality management system in a project or in a organization is a collection of policy, right? Policy. This is the reference policy on how to do things. This is something like should have something like a procedure on how to execute a process, something like plans, right? Resources on quality, how many person involved, how many time, right? What is the tools, what is the environment that they provide for quality uh, process, right? And then the processes, practice, right? And the specification of responsibility, who responsible to do what, and then the authority, what is the authority who do some approval, who something like the decision maker of an organization design to achieve product service quality level, right? Service quality level, customer satisfaction, and the company objective. So this is a quality management system. What is mean? So you can see that first it is collection of all things, all these things, right? And the specification of responsibility, right? Authority who do the approval and decision making, and achieve what? To achieve product service quality level, right? Service quality level, customer satisfaction, and also the company objective. What is service quality level, guys?
Is it benchmark atau?
Sorry, Shazwan?
benchmark.
Benchmark. Yes, it's kind of something like benchmark. This is quality that they have to achieve, right? Or benchmark to a standard. This is a service quality level. They have something like level of quality, right? Okay. Next, we are moving to something like more towards the software quality. So, what is SQA? So, what is SQA, guys? The full name of SQA.
Software quality assurance.
Yes, thank you, Shazwan, and also Hazik. Software quality assurance, right? How do you assure the software quality, right? Software quality assurance. Software quality assurance is a plan, systematic approach, right, to the evaluation of the quality of an adherence to one software product standards, right? Processes and also procedures, right? The step processes is a process, right? And also the procedures, right? So we have product standard, process, and also procedure, three main things. So assures that standards and procedure are established and followed throughout the software development process. It is to ensure that standard and procedure are established, okay, follow throughout the software development process. So software development process, the one that you develop the system, you already know, right? Software development process. Then you have to ensure that all the process following the standards and also the procedures. Okay. So what is software development process, guys? You remember? You still remember the software development life cycle?
Yes.
Yes. So can you give me the software development life cycle?
Agile.
Mm,
Mhm.
yeah. Okay.
Can you give me the software development life cycle? Yeah, agile is one of the
Requirement. Yeah. Is it?
methodology.
Software requirement.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Planning.
Software. First is planning, right? And it's okay. Again. So sorry, planning, analysis, design, implementation, and also maintenance. All right. So this is the software development life cycle, right? So we have planning first. What is in planning? What we will do in planning?
Gather the requirement. Gather the
Yeah,
requirement. Yeah. And then analyze.
gathering.
I know.
Analyze is the next
Yeah.
process, right?
Yeah.
For the yeah yes we do some analyzation on planning, but it's a really high level analysis, meaning that is it feasible or not, the feasibility study. All right, in planning normally we gather the stakeholder, the owner of the system requirement and also what he wants to do, and then we try to see whether it's feasible or not, because sometimes some people have a lot of ideas but sometimes it is not feasible to implement it, right? So, but at the planning, and then we do something like a bit estimation on how if you want to have this product, it takes around 7 months to develop or 1 year to develop. They have something like estimation of the software. Is it big or is it small? And then how long it takes to develop it, right? So that one is in planning. And then after that, we go for requirement analysis, right? So we go for requirement analysis. We gather all the requirement. So okay, do you know the technique to gather all the requirement, right, guys? What is the technique in eliciting requirement? Interview, desktop research or research,
Questionnaire.
survey, questionnaire or survey. Good. Yes.
Observe.
Observation, right? So you can have an on the field observation. You go to the organization, see how they do things, right? Then what else?
Background study.
Background study. You study all the background of the project, and also if they have something like policy, you have something like if you are dealing with the government software, they have something like government act and so on. This is just something like background study. Other than that, yeah.
So system documentation.
Yes, go through the system documentation because some project they are enhancing to a new software, right? And then the new software have the old software have system documentation. Then you study the system documentation from the previous software in order to get a new requirement for the new software, right? So now also have something like a new way on how to collect the requirement, probably from the social media, right? Because you can see a lot of complaints, right? Complaint of the current software. The software is not really easy to use. They have a lot of problem. It is really slow. Then you can also get the requirement or do this some requirement analysis on social media for that organization, right? Okay, that's good. So you still remember requirement, and then after that, in design. So what is in designing phase?
Prototype.
Prototyping, yes. But prototyping actually can be used in design, and also is a method that can be used in a requirement analysis, because normally for if the organization don't have any system at all, so the system is a really really new system, and they don't have any online system or any digital system. Normally for me, I will do prototyping first, just a prototype, just to get the feel of the what call that the user on how the system will be after it is developed. So, and then we try to gather all the requirement, because normally the that kind of user, they don't have any in mind on how the system will be look like. So we develop a prototype, give them this is a prototype, and then they know that, oh, okay, the system will be something like this. Okay, then okay, you need to plus this one, you need to plus this one because this is not good, and then they know they have something like idea on how how the system will be look like, and then they will know their requirement or on how to make their things more efficient, their process more efficient, right? Designing, right? Then guys, oh, what is you design the system, right? First, you make an architecture of the system, architecture of the software, and then after that you do more low level design. You have probably a class diagram. You probably will have a sequence diagram for the whole system. Then do the implementation. Implementation is coding, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's construction, right? Sometimes you can find implementation, sometimes you can find the terms construction, software construction, right? And then do the maintenance and so on. So this is the whole process of the software development, right? And then if you also do some other model methodology, as mentioned, your friend mentioned about agile methodology or DevOps and so on. So this is uh, some methods, but normally this method also use the planning, analyzing, designing, implementation, also maintenance, the STLC. They are using it, but sometimes it's not really obvious to see that all these things, right? Okay, SQA. to assure software quality. Then this is the standards and a procedure, standard and procedure. That is the framework for which software evolve, right? This is the framework of software evolve, and standard is established criteria to which software product are compared. The one that we have mentioned, to benchmark with what, right? To We say that okay, our product is really a quality product, okay, but how you how you measure that your product is a high quality, which benchmark that you use, right? You are referring to which what call that which standard. So standard is something that to as a reference to claim, right? If you have a good quality product or not, something like a benchmark, right? So procedures establish the criteria to which development and control procedure are followed. So this is a procedure. So procedure is more on, for me, more on process, right? On how to develop the product. Whether you are following the criteria that have been mentioned in the in the quality procedure on how to develop the product, and also development and also control, right? So we have a planning, we have analyzing the requirement, and then we have control, something like before going to the design phase, you need to have a good quality of requirement first. Requirement have to fulfill some some control checking, and then after that, before design, before implementation, the design also have to be something like have a control on how to do that, right? Yeah, on how the quality is. So SQA is based on the following standard and procedure. Okay. So first, uh, s- proper documentation of standards and procedure is necessary for SQA, right? So proper documentation of standards and procedure is necessary for SQA. SQA activities of process monitoring, product evaluation, auditing rely on these standards and procedures. Okay, so you need to have a proper documentation, okay, of standards and procedure, okay, for the SQA, meaning that you have in order to uh, in order to make sure your organization to have a good quality assurance activities, you need to have the documentation, right? So if you are saying that you are following the ISO 9126, right, for the quality product, if you are mentioned that you have something like you follow the IEEE for requirement and IEEE standard for design, make sure all the documentation is available in your company, right? You buy the standards, right? Because the standard is something that you cannot download in the internet, right? You have to buy the standard, and then the standard is something like the license to your company to use. So you say that okay, every process follow the ISO standard, blah blah blah, blah, but the organization itself did not buy that and don't have the documentation in their company. So you have to if you are following all the standard, make sure all the standard you have bought in the from the organization that released that, right? So SQA activity of, yeah, sorry. So any number of different standard and procedure can be used on a given system, right? Any number of different standards and procedure can be used on a given system. So it is not only one standard, right? You can have a lot of standards, because some standards is focusing on one process, some standard focusing on one procedure, and then some only one specific activities. So you can have a number of standard in one uh, software development or software or system development. Okay. First is our requirement standard, right? So Okay, requirement standards specify the form and content on how requirements are defined, right? Establish a system on how to write requirement, short phrase describing requirement, elaborate into more detail, use a numbering system for the major requirements and sub requirements. Many major companies have software to aid requirement writing process. So this is requirement standard. So I think you already learned about requirement standard before, right? In your requirement topic, sorry, requirement subject. Have
Yeah.
you learned? Sorry, Haji?
Yes. I think we did.
Yeah, you have learned that, right? So do you know what is the standard?
It must follow user needs.
It's not. That one is not the standard. The standard that you use to write a requirement. Have you learned about that before?
So the standard to document the requirement, is it, Doctor?
Yes, yes. Which
I
standard that you follow?
am not sure if. Okay, jap.
Okay, now Google. Okay, now you can Google. I give you 2 minutes on the requirement standard. Can you give me the requirement standard? Guys,
I
requirement standard? IEEE?
IEEE, right?
Yes. IEEE what? IEEE,
I mean IEEE standard. We follow that one, right?
yes. Yeah, I know that IEEE standard. What? But which standard of IEEE?
Um, from my Google,
Mm-hmm.
for IEEE, we have 26511
Sorry?
42018,
Again?
26511
26511.
4218.
Mm-hmm.
For 2019 is ISO 25065.
25065. Okay. This is I'm not familiar with this. Sorry, but I will try to see that. Yeah. But from Adila, 830. That one is correct. Okay. For Haliza, I try to see 26511. Right. 26511. IEEE 26511. Okay. Oh, this is for the requirement for the user, what call that? Requirement for managers of user documentation. So this is not the system requirement itself, right? But this is more towards the user. But we can take it as a requirement. What call it? This is not specific for software requirement, but this is the requirements for managers and of user documentation. Okay. And another one is 25065. ISO 25065. 2019. This is the new one. Oh, this is a common industrial format for usability. So okay, this is also a requirement, but this is the new one. Uh, and then as 830, okay, there is one more requirement, standard other than 830. Guys, are you still googling? Yes, Kyrie, that's right. That's correct. 29148, 2018. Previous is 2011. Now it's 2018. The new was one. Okay, so this is the requirement standard that use in the industry, right? 830 and 29148. The one that I know and I use is 21148 as for now. Okay, so specify the form of content, how requirement are defined in the system, right? So establish a system of how to write the requirement, right? Short phrase describing requirement, elaborate into more detail, something like that. So have you learned about the requirement structure before? The boilerplate of requirement, guys? Have you learned about boilerplate of requirement?
What? Boilerplate.
Yeah, boilerplate or template, requirement template. Sorry, the same one. Boilerplate and template is the same.
I
Sorry, anyone have learned that? Yes, requirement template. Have you learned about that? Yes, SRS. But do you learn about on how to formulate the requirement?
do. Hang on. I'll check.
Sorry, it's not clear, guys. So Adila mentioned that he didn't, she didn't learn that. Yes, I think from SRS. Yes. So what kind of structure that you learn? Is it from the IEEE? Is it from ROOP? Is it from years? Okay, guys. Wait. I from IEEE. Okay. Probably you have learned that, but you don't remember. Can you see this?
Oh yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Have you learned this?
Uh, I think so. Yeah.
This is the requirement, something like template or syntax, right? For requirement. So this is condition, this is subject, action, object, and also constraint. This is from IEEE, right? From ISO IEEE, and then this is from years, right? Easy approach for requirement syntax. This is also a requirement structure or also template that come from years. This is have been used in Intel. Uh, this is a ROOPS, right? This is also something like a template, right? Template of requirement. And also this is also template of requirement called user story in agile development, right? So this is something like uh, all the templates that they have. Okay, so I hope that you know this, right? Because this will be used in your next assignment, right? So I hope that you understand this template. Okay, so you know how to inspect requirement, right? You know how to evaluate requirement specification. Do you know that?
Hang on. Wait.
Guys, do you know how to evaluate requirement specification? SRS or URS or BRS? Have you learned that? Forgot already? Okay, if you forgot, then before giving your sorry, but it's like a quality attribute. Yes, yes, something that you have to evaluate in terms of all the things here: necessary, appropriate, unambiguous. Is it complete? Is it singular? Is it feasible? Is it verifiable? Is it correct? And is it conforming? Guys,
Yeah, yes, Doctor. I think we have this.
you have this. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Because the next assignment you will do something like this one, just the inspection of requirement. All right. Okay. Fine. Probably I will take one slot to refresh your uh, knowledge on this. Or you already okay or not? Sorry. You still remember? Do you want me to explain it to you?
Yes.
Yes, Doctor.
Yes.
Okay, good. That okay. Before I give you the second assignment, group assignment, I will give this lecture for you, probably around 1 hour. That one, I think it's okay. Okay, guys, good. So we continue about our standard and procedure. So this is you have a lot of standard, right? Like you already mentioned about that there is a standard of 25065 830 IEEE and 29148 from the ISO and also IEEE. There's a lot of standard, right? You can pick anyone, but some standard is just for specific requirement, right? Okay, and also use numbering system for the major requirement and also sub requirement. This is something a lot of people sometimes forgot, that they don't have any identification of their requirement. They just put one. The system should respond in blah 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 to blah blah blah, but they don't have any specific uh, requirement identification. Normally, we will put the SRS underscore one underscore two. This is something like a naming convention, or for the requirement identification or requirement IT. Okay, many major companies have software to aid in the requirement writing process, right? So, for example, some they have a tool called requirement view, or a rec view, and also a quite well-known one is the IBM doors and some other requirement management system. Okay, so design standard. So design standards specify the content and form of how design documents are developed, right? What should have in a requirement documentation, right? SDD, or some people call SDS, software development software design specification, or software design document, right? So I remember when I learned about the OD standard. They use the they use the term SDD, software development, software design document, and some people use SDS, software design specification, right? So it's provide rules and method to transfer the requirement, right, to the design, and software design into software design documentation, or SDD, the one that I mentioned to you before. Because every documentation, because we have processes, right? We have processes from first planning, and then after that requirement, and start requirement, we do the formal documentation uh, of software, right? Following the 830 or 29.48, and then after that we move to another one, to this software design, and then the software design, and go to the implementation. So, but we have to make sure that all the phases, all the software process, or software development phases, they have related, they have relation, and then you need to relate or make a traceability of requirement and also the design, right? So this is the design to fulfill which requirement. So this is something that needed in the software design, right? Because software design, you are designing something to fulfill some requirement, right? So you have to have something like traceability between the design and also the requirement. This is normally not really easy to find in the real world, right? Because a lot of people sometimes do requirement and then straight away to design, and then the design sometimes is not traceable to the requirement that they have already developed. Okay, many major companies have design development aid in the process, right? So they have some tool, software design tool. If you are using the object-oriented software design, or you can normally you use the UML, right? So UML have a lot, a lot of tools. You can have something like Visual Paradigm. You have Magic Draw. You have Enterprise Architect. You have Rational Unified. Rational Software Architect. You also have a free one, something like Star UML, Argo UML. There's a lot of, yeah, software design, and then even if they have something like, if you do the design really really thorough, really what call that really specific, and then you can generate the code or the skeleton of the code, right? So this is the software design, uh, uh, what call it, a software design tools capability. Have you used that, guys, before? You do the UML diagram, class diagram, and then you generate the code.
We did the UML and class, but we don't transfer into code, if I'm not mistaken.
Ah, okay, all right. You can try that actually, because they have something like you can find the features of generate the code, right? Then you can see the code. But normally, if you do some high level design, the code is just high level, meaning that the code have something, just a skeleton. They will generate the class, and then the association of the class, right? They will declare the class that you associate with, but inside the class you have to code it by yourself. But there are some software, or some software to design this, to make the software design, and then after that you can straight away until do the coding, right? The coding is almost uh, almost finished, and you just have to change some parameters and so on, and then after that the software can be run. There are some what call it, tool to do that. Okay, and then one more thing, I just want to ask: have you ever tried reverse engineering before?
Not yet.
No. Okay, that's okay. That's good. Do you think that this is benefit for you to learn reverse engineering? Okay. But do you know what is the term reverse engineering, guys?
Excuse me, doctor.
Do you know what is reverse engineering is?
Is it the
Yeah, Ahmad?
term that we start from the code, then the design, then the requirements, right?
Reverse engineering.
Yeah, starting
Uh,
from the code back to the requirements, right?
mm, yeah,
Actually,
but
that's the way how I prefer to work.
you're not following the standard now, right?
No,
Okay, that's good. Heard about it, but you don't know. Can you explain what is it? So reverse engineering is you do the reverse engineer because no the forward engineering, meaning that the normal engineering that we learn, right? The one that I mentioned to you before, the planning requirement analysis, design, and also coding, right? So the reverse engineering is you try to reverse it back first from the coding from the code, you try to get the design, right? Or from the implementation from the exe, the one that executable code, or the class file from Java, right? That one is already executable. From that class, you try to reverse to source code, right? From the exe, you try to reverse to the source code, and that from the source code, you try to get the design, right? But from the design to requirement, that is that can be done probably, but it is not really. From my experience, I don't know how to do that in automatic way, right? You can make it in what call that in manual way, but you cannot make it automatic. Guys, understand?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so from the exe and from the class file, there is a software on how to reverse it from the class file and from the executable file into a source code, right? And then from the source code, you can also reverse to the software design automatically by using a UML tool. But from the design to the requirement, as I mentioned to you before, I don't know how to you do it automatically. But if you want to make it manually, then it can be done.
Oh,
Okay. Uh, do you want to learn that skill?
reverse engineering.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we. Yes, sure.
But if you want to do that, I will try to make a slot because I'm thinking of giving you seems confusing and difficult. No, it's just a really easy one. But I will I will show you how to do that. Okay. It should be your assignment ahead. I think assignment group assignment number probably number 2. So I will give you that one. Don't really. I know it's something that is easy because it's using tools. It is not something that you need to do by hand, right? Okay, guys. Next, okay, we have a standard design standard. So, for example, design standard is IEEE 1016. Yeah, this is IEEE. This is not ISO. It's just IEEE 1016 that specify all the things that should be in the requirement. They have something like a template on how to make a software design documentation. Okay, so code standards, right? specify what language the code is written, and define any restriction on language features, right? So standard define the legal language structure, style convention, rules for data structure and interfaces, internal code documentation, and so on. So use methods such as peer reviews, body checks, code analysis, and enforce standards, right? So code also have something like standard, right? It is not only but for me, it depend on the code, right? It will depend the language of the code. If you're using Python, then the indentation is really crucial, right? But if you use more traditional one, C, uh, the indentation is not really what I call that really strict. But if you're following naming a code standard, then you have to follow the code standard, right? And also code standard will define the legal language structure, right? Language structure, because I can see a lot of software. It is not only uh, uh, what do you call that? It is not a student developed software. This is software that is in the real world, that they still use something like a language structure that is not really easy to understand. Use A is equal to 1 and then B is equal. But yeah, because that is not a good really language structure, because from the variable itself, I cannot predict what is the role of that variable, right? It is good to have something like, if you have a language structure, that this is the code for defining a constant, defining a variable, and so on. So this is something like legal uh, structure. Style convention, right? Naming convention, something that I mentioned to you before. Rules for data structure and interfaces. If you want to use the interface, this is the structure, something like that. This is the rules. For probably for the data structure, you cannot use a bubble sort. It's only some sort of that are permitted because of the performance of the system, and so on. So this is the rules for the data structure. I think some of you still remember, and because I taught you data structure before, right? You still remember the sorting, right? The quick sort, and so on. So this is something that sometimes is crucial for some highly high performance software. You have to choose the right data structure technique on how to solve the problem. It's not only just to solve the problem, but you have to comply with the performance requirement of the system. And also the internal code documentation. Yeah, the thing that normally a lot of people don't remember, that is, you have to put the command and so on. The structure of the command also should be in your follow your coding standards. Okay, coding standards are a good thing. Too many will force productivity, creativity to suffer, because if you make a lot of restriction, then, because coding is something like more about the quality. It's not quality. It's more coding, more creativity. Creativity, right? So a good creative developer will try to have a really nice and really efficient efficient code, right? A small code but can execute a lot of things, right? But somehow there is some restriction that not permitted this to be happen, right? So, and then also code standard will force productivity, because you have to force, if you force all the code have to be commented, right? Then you will take a lot of time of the developer, because developers sometimes just do the coding and then try error, and then they forgot on how to they forgot to add the comment, and then you force them, okay, look back, put a comment, and then you will waste their time and then their productivity. Okay, example of good code standard is reduction or elimination of global variables, right? So reduction or elimination of global variable. Why this is a good co-stranded, guys? Do you still remember global variables?
Uh, yeah. Is it like I, I'm not sure. Is it in HTML?
Mm, global variable, HTML. I'm not good in HTML. Sorry to say that. But what I mentioned about global variable in object oriented.
Oh, I know primitive variable. But I'm not sure about global.
Global variable. Yeah, the variable that you declare it globally. Then the person who are using the class can access the variable and change it. It is the best to make it private because that variable or that attribute cannot be changed by people who are using the class. And you need to have a getters and setters, right, in order to change the variable. Function and method size should be minimized. The second one, right? You cannot have a really big, what call that, function or methods, because some people that I see sometimes in the coding, they make a one or two only methods, and then they put all the things in that methods. That's not a good one. And then the method is really long, size is really big, and then yeah, you need to make the what call that. You have to slice the methods into some other two or three to make it more efficient, right? Sometimes it's not efficient to have one whole uh, function, and then you can have problem with maintainability. If something happened with that function, then you have to recompile it back, and then if you make it break it into some other function or some other classes, then if anything happened, you just focus on that class or function. Okay, each line of code should have 70 characters maximum, right? So don't have much, yeah, and one code statement per line. I remember that if you're using Java, you can separate the statement by using semicolon, right? But some people just have one line, semicolon with three, so there are three statement in one line. So hopefully you have to you should change. It is good to have that you have sorry you have one code per statement per line. Okay, guys. Next is documentation standard, right? So specify form, content for planning, control, product documentation, consistency throughout the system. Documentation can be written in any form, right? Each practice should be documented so it can be repeated or changed later if needed. Okay. This is some of the documentation organization that organization involved in SQL standard development. So you will see IEEE, right? Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineer, right? Computer Society, ISO, as I mentioned to you before, the DoD standard, the U.S. Department of Defense, ANSI, called the American National Standard Institute, IEC, International Electrotechnical Commission, and EIA, Electronic Industries Association. So this is some of developer of SQA standards, right? So the standard that we can rely on. So okay, what is the standard that is developed for our country?
It's IEE, IEEE, Institute of Electronic Engineering.
No, Haziq. For our local standard, developer.
Is it?
Guys, you should know, guys. For the
Is
for
it
the local.
MSc, Doctor?
Sorry.
MSc?
Oh, MSc, no. MSc is a multimedia super corridor uh, status from granted for the company who are have something like, what do you call that? Uh, it is a status, MSc status company. So seperti di atas is Sirim. Yes, Kadir, you are correct. Sirim. And also Khairi, you are correct. This is Sirim. Yeah, Sirim is under Jabatan Standard Malaysian Standard Department. So Sirim is the body that produce or develop standard in Malaysia. It's not only software quality standard, it's the whole standard, right? All the standard. And then sometimes Sirim, it's not develop a new standard, but he adopt standard from the ISO, standard from the IEEE, but they make it as a Malaysian standard, right? MS, the one. Oh, the one that you mentioned, Shazwan, MSC or something like it's MS, right? Malaysian standard MS, and then they have something like code. Okay, guys. The next is software quality assurance standards, IEEE. Okay. Okay. All right. I think this one we will continue next session, right? Software quality assurance standards. By the way, do you have any questions so far, guys?
No, doctor, all okay for now.
I think it's just a dry one, something like an informative information. It is not a lot of things that you need to think, right? Uh, Regarding to your assignment, do you have any problem with your assignment?
Doctor, there is no problem. There is just a question. Like there is characteristics, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we have to choose four and rank
Mm-hmm.
them. Should the ranking be 4, 3, 2, 1, like to the different ranking, or can I rank two characteristics with the same ranking?
No. The one that I mentioned to you is rank 1 to 4, right? Which one is
Yeah.
the thing that you have focused? The second one, the third, and the fourth one. It is not something
Okay.
like rating. It's not rating 1, 2, 3, and 4. It is ranking.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, got it.
Do we have to explain for both SMP and Putra Blast for each quality characteristic? No, but you can make one of them as a sample example, right?
Oh, so we do for only one, either SMP or Putra Blast.
You Yeah, that one is example. Sorry, that one, yeah, that one is example. You can make you can take which one that you want, but you can have you can also take both. That one I prefer to have both, but if you have one, for me it's fine, right? So if you something, let's say you are talking about security, blah 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 blah, and then you in your justification you refer security in Putra Blast, right? So it's easy to hack, or probably the password is not a really high, what do you call that, high password, high secure password, that say have something like special character and blah 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 so on. This is some example, and then you have to refer example to the Putra Blast, either Putra Blast or ASMP.
Sure.
Yep.
And in the ISO/IEC 25010, in
Mm-hmm.
the performance efficiency,
Mm-hmm.
the capacity, what does it refer? Is it server capacity or hardware capacity? I
Okay,
want
25010 under. Sorry, again.
under performance efficiency,
Mm-hmm.
the capacity, what does it refer? Is it number of user capacity or is it number of event that is occurring?
Ah, okay. So wait, wait for a while. Mm. Okay, Haziq. Capacity.
Yeah.
Capacity of the system.
Oh, is
The
it?
thing that how many load, how many throughput, the user that can use the system, how many capacity that it can handle, and is it appropriate or not?
Oh, I see.
You can see the Putra blast when a lot of people access that, or the ESMP when the registration of the system as a registration of uh, the cost happened, and then how the behavior of the system. Is it okay? Is it or not okay? Is it you can is it down or something? This is based on your experience, right? Okay.
Oh,
Okay, guys. One more thing. I didn't mention it to you purposely. Sorry to say that. Uh, if you go to your Putra Blast, if you go to your Putra Blast, okay. I put it. Where will it? This is group two. Sorry, group one. Can you see my screen, guys?
yes.
Yes. Okay. Uh have you seen this one?
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah. So it shows give you some hint on what is functional suitability, what is performance efficiency, what is compatibility, and the sub characteristic under that. So the one that you mentioned here is capacity. Are the maximum limits reasonable or not?
oh,
Okay, I put it there, so I hope that someone can find it, right? But yeah, since you asked that, I think that I give you the direction on how to find it, some clue on the ISO 25010, the characteristic explanation. Of course, you can also find the explanation in the internet, some other what call that, some other resources. But this is the thing that I just a really simple explanation on the characteristics. Sorry.
okay.
Okay, guys. Hope is I can help you on your assignment. Wait. Okay. So this is also some information, right? ISO 25010, all the definition here. So I give you two sources. Right. One is the info ISO 25010 quality characteristic and ISO 25010 product quality. I hope this can help you to answer my question in the exam. Sorry, uh, in the
Sorry.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome. All right, I think that's all. For those who are uh, don't did not sign your attendance yet, please log on to Putra Blast and sign your attendance. I hope that we can see on Wednesday morning, inshallah. Okay, see you and thank you very much for coming.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Welcome.
Thank you, Doctor.
Welcome.